Okay, welcome to another Ortelia Set Designer tutorial. In this one, what we're looking at is lighting. If you remember in the last tutorial, we looked at how to place props. So what I've done is quickly gone ahead and built up a rudimentary little scene. So let's just have a quick walk around that and see what we're working with. Note that the ambient light is turned right up so we can see the whole space. Okay, so we've got a couple of chairs here, we've got a small table with a book on it, we have a carpet, we have a chaise lounge, we have another table with a lamp on it, and we've got a grandfather clock. And that's all that's involved in our scene. So let's go up here a little bit so we can get a better look at what we're doing. And what I'm going to do is bring the ambient light down fairly dim, and I'm going to, you have to now be in the lights prop. So the first thing I'm going to do is click create. So I've created light and it just goes to a default light which is very generic and you can do a lot with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is place my first light up here on the lighting rig, and I'm going to then, so I click with my left mouse button to place it, and then I just move my cursor around, and what we're going to do first is focus over here in this general area and then click again to aim it. So there's our light. Now we can just play with the default light if we want, and we can play with the angle on the light. Note that as the angle or the cone angle of light increases, the light intensity decreases, and as it decreases, the light intensity gets much more focused. We can also play with the intensity of the actual light and the focus. So we may want a very hard edge, or we may want a very soft edge. And we can also rotate the light, which doesn't really mean a lot unless you're doing things like using barn doors. So for example, we've got the top barn door here and it's active, it's already active. So first of all, I guess we'll make this nice and sharp so you get an idea of what's going on here. So we select our light, and then we've got the top barn door selected, and we'll cut it down a bit. We'll do the same with the bottom. Bring that up, and we'll do it with the left and right shutters as well, so we get a fairly square light. Okay, so there we are. Now what we can do is go back to our rotation and note that we can rotate our light around. We can also give our light a color. But anyway, that's not the light we're going to use in this one. What we're going to use for this one is a beam projector, and it has no shutters or barn doors, and we're going to make it fairly light, and we'll increase its angle a bit more. So what I really want to focus on here is getting more of this top bit lit. So what we'll do is just click the aim button again and bring it up here. Now we're seeing that the light is very intense and it's washing everything out, so we'll drop our intensity back as well. So we've just got a nice little light effect across top, and we'll make it a clean white light. Okay. And that's pretty much that light place. Now let's go ahead and create another light. Now what happens usually is when you create a light, it will, and we'll just bring this one down here first over this area, and it's gone back to the default again. And in this case, let's go with an ellipsoidal zoom. And we'll leave our barn doors as they are, but we'll give this one a bit of a red hint. And we'll drop its intensity back a little bit more, but open the angle up some more and focus it a little more softly. Okay, so we're now going to go ahead and create another one, and this time I'm holding down my right mouse button so I can look up, and I'm going to place this light directly overhead, holding my right mouse button down again to bring it down so that I can look at what I want to aim at and let my mouse button go. Now I've got my aiming cursor here, and click with the left mouse button and I'm aimed where I want to be. So let's go now with a plano convex. Okay, so we'll decrease the angle a bit because we want to focus this one very much on the lounge. We'll bring its intensity up a little bit more, and of course we don't have any control over the focus on this one. And just for the sake of argument, let's give it a different color. Now you can also do things like overlap colors. So now what we'll do is quickly just create 3 more lights and overlap them and see what happens. So click create, we'll put our first one down here. Now be aware that whatever material or color you've got underneath it, is going to affect the color that's projected. So our first one's there, we've set it at a green. We'll create another one now and put that one up here. Overlap it there and make it blue. And then we'll create one more light, put this one up here. Overlap it there and make it red. And so you get your color mixing as well. And this will work across all of your lights. You can go into top view to see how it all looks from above. And there you go. And that's pretty much all that's involved in creating lights. So some lights do have the ability to adjust barn doors, and as such, other lights don't. Some of them will allow you to focus, others won't. Now these lights are approximation of the real light, but they will give you a good indication of how it all looks. So if we now bring down our ambient light, we get a good feel for what the lighting is going to be in the space. And of course we can now go down and move around and look at it, see how it looks. We can also, by using Control and 1 through to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, we can have a look at different views, pre-programmed views. Now these pre-programmed views only work for the Billy Brown Theatre. So that's what is involved in creating lights. Now just quickly, what I'd like to do is create a new file and load the other space that we have, which is an outdoor space, the Ortelia Theatre. Okay, so here we are in the other default theatre which we have in Set Designer, which is the ancient Greek amphitheatre. This is actually a replica of a real ancient Greek amphitheatre known as Epidavros. So what you'll note are that we have some pre-positioned lighting rigs. So if we go to the tools menu, you notice that they're highlighted. So all of those you can add lights to, in addition to two that are at either end of the current stage. Now what I've done is just quickly made up this scene so we can illustrate the point with using the lighting rig that is in the props category. So under the props category, I selected this lighting rig. So I'll just go over here and turn that on, and so there's our 3 lighting rigs that I've just suspended in mid-air, and each one of them is approximately 6 meters off the stage. Also, I've gone ahead and attached some lights, and there are the lights. So what we'll now do is quickly just drop down, take the time of day to sometime in the evening, and there you go. So you can use props as lighting rigs as well. So this means that you can light an outdoor scene, or you can set lighting rigs where you know they would be, even though there's no ceiling. But in this case, there would have been some sort of scaffolding. And that's pretty much it.